Hi everyone, welcome to Introduction to Programming. This is lecture 19. In this lecture, I'm talking about dictionaries, the definition of dictionaries, syntax, how to use and when to use dictionaries, and a few methods. A dictionary is a useful data type built in Python. We've been talking about sequences until now, for example, lists that have elements that have a position and a value. Now we are switching gears and talking about mappings. By definition, dictionaries are unordered mappings for storing objects. For example, list stores an object in an ordered format, as I said earlier. Dictionaries use key value pairing. Key value pairing allows users to quickly access objects without knowing the index location. For example, this is a linear collection of objects that allows us to keep the objects in order, and so there is a position and a value to every element, which is not true for an unordered mapping wherein you, for example, in a bag of values you have everything that has a label. So for example, if I'm trying to find out or get money out of my wallet, I would reach out for a wallet instead of reaching out for a sequence of elements, right? So that's the major difference between lists and dictionaries. Now let's quickly go to Spider and actually create dictionaries and understand how they work. Okay, so there are a few methods of creating dictionaries. I'm creating a dictionary called children. I'm calling it, I'll save information for children. This is one way of creating it. The other way is simply use curly braces. Now the important part here is that we should have keys and values in my dictionary. Every key should point to a value, and the way I can add those key value pairs, and let me actually show you how they look like first. This is how a key value looks like in a dictionary, right? So there is a key and then there is a value. So we will create that here in our dictionary called children, right? So the way we do that is using square brackets. Within the square brackets, I'll add my key. For example, my keys are names of children and my values are their ages, right? So for example, children, Sam is 12. Similarly, children, and then Peter is the second key, and then the value is 11. And similarly, I'll add more key value pairs in my dictionary. Let me add another one and then move on to other methods that work on it. For example, this is 13. Right, now let me go and print what is there in my children dictionary. And as you can see on the right hand side, this is what my dictionary looks like. Curly braces and then a key value pair, every key pointing to a value, right? I can actually go and create dictionaries directly, like using curly braces and then keys. For example, hello points to, let's say 12, and then world, that let's say points to 10, and new is also a dictionary, right? So these are two ways of creating dictionaries. How to access elements. Let me just write down access elements. Multiple ways of accessing elements. You can go and directly do, for example, children and Sam. You will get the output, as you can see on the right hand side, as the value of that key, right? One way to check whether that key exists in your dictionary or not is to, just like sets, use key in dictionary, right? This will give me a true or a false. So as you can see, I get a true. For example, I'm giving a key in children and this key does not exist. I get a false, right? Um, Another important thing here is that if I'm trying to access a key that does not exist, for example, in this case, I will get a key error if I'm trying to do that. So a better way to actually access keys in my dictionaries by using this in method, right? Now, as I said, and for example, let me print my children dictionary again. I have these keys and values, keys, values, and so on. Every key is the student name and value is the child's name and then the age, right? I can get an output of only the keys by doing a dictionary, the name of the dictionary, which is children dot keys. This will give me only the keys, as you can see, but it does have this word dict underscore keys attached to it, one way of getting rid of this is to actually go and list these, and you might need them going forward. This is a good way of getting only the keys, the list of all the keys. Similarly, I can get the list of all values in my dictionary by doing a dot values method, and as you can see, I get all the values, right? I can get tuples as key value pairs as well by doing list and then children dot items. Items is the method to get the output as keys and values in the form of tuples. Now there are certain similarities of dictionaries with sets, as you might have noticed when we use the curly braces. So essentially sets are dictionaries without values. So sets have only keys, not values, right? Which actually points to one basic and important fact about dictionaries, is that these keys should be unique. Keys in dictionaries are unique. Values can be anything. These could be booleans, integers, floating points, strings, tuples, sets, or other dictionaries. Let's look at an example where we are creating values as sets. Let's look at this example, right? Let me create a new dictionary called students, and just like we did in the first example, I use dict. You could use the curly braces as well. Students, and then let me go and add things to it just like we did earlier. So I'm again adding a name. I'm adding a name, and then it needs to have a value, right? Otherwise it does not make any sense, which is why we got this error, right? The key error. So I said it should point to a set. Now I need to go and add values to this set, right? If I just go and print this, you will see the structure of my dictionary. Students, it looks like this. Sam is the key and set is empty. Now to go and add things to it, the same rules will apply as we did with sets or with any value type. For example, in this, the value type is set, right? So I can go and do students, Sam. When I do this, I will get the outcome as my value, right? So I can use all the methods that can apply on that value. For example, my value is a set. I can do a dot add, right? This is important. Let's say if my value was a list, I could do a dot append, similar to that, right? So I added 12. Let's say I want to add students, and then again access the key. That's important. Which value, where do you want to add it? For example, in this case, it's just Sam, and then I can do a dot add again because the value is of the type set, and then I want to add this string, let's say, for the student, right? And let me go and print students to see what I get, and you can see the key is Sam and the value is a set that has two values, right? I could have done the same thing by using a list. Let me quickly show you that as well. Let's say people is a dictionary, and then people equals dict, and then in people, instead of calling a key, let's say again I'm calling the same, I'm creating the same key, Sam, and then my value could be an empty list as well. That's totally doable. Or let me show you another way of doing it. Maybe we already did one such example, so let me go and directly create this key value pair, right? Let's say I have Sam, and this points to a list of values, right? So this is just like another example. Let's say this was a list, and then it has these values. This is also another way of creating dictionaries. Now I want to go and add something to this list, which is a value to the key Sam, right? The way I'll do it is people, and then again access the key, which is Sam. And because I know the type, the value type here is a list, so I can do a dot append, and let's say I wanted to add a zip code to this value, right? And let's go and check what happened to people. And as you can see, I've added another value to my list, right? Now let's look at some common methods before we end this lecture. Some of the important methods are, for example, children dot get, and then in get just provide what do you want in children. For example, I want Sam, right? Let me get it. So it gives me the value, right? Let's say this in get I'm giving a value Luke, and I know that this does not exist. I will not get any output, right? I can in get decide what output I want. For example, I can just print not found. If I run this, I will get not found if loop wasn't found. If this was found, for example, this was Sam, it will give me the value for Sam. Right, so that's how .get method is used. Similarly, the .pop method works in a similar way, but it actually removes a value. So you can go and do children, which is my dictionary .pop, and what do you want to pop? For example, I want to pop Sam, so it will remove this value from your dictionary, right? Another way of removing things from a dictionary is by using del, and then you can do children, and then what do you want to remove from children? Let's say I want to remove Alice from children, right? So I will just give the key Alice as del and children Alice, and it will remove, sorry, this is not the correct spelling. So this will remove that key value pair itself, right? Another method I wanted to talk about was update, and this is also important. We can update an existing dictionary in two ways. For example, let's see what children looks like, and then we'll decide to update it. So this is how children looks like. It has two key value pairs, remember, because we popped Sam, right? And so it does not exist anymore. I want to update it, and I want to go in and add Sam back, let's say, right? One way of doing that is to do a key equals what value Sam had. Sam had, I think, value 10 or 12, right? 12. So I can go and do children.update, add this key equals value pair, right? That's one way of doing it. Another is that I can do children.update, and sorry, this has to be update, and in parentheses I can give a new dictionary. So let's say I wanted to add Luke, and the value is 13, right? And then might have another key value pair. Let's say I have Jack, and then the value is 9, right? So I can update my dictionary with those multiple values or with a new dictionary, right? And let's see what happened to children. And this is what I get, an updated dictionary. Right? With this, I end this lecture. In the next lecture, I'll continue talking about dictionaries and a few important methods of looping on dictionaries. So see you then.